PodcastOne presents the Steve Austin Show Classics.
All right, everybody, here we go. 316 Gimmick Street. I got XPac, Waltman here face to face. Hey, man, good morning. How are you?
I'm great. I'm fantastic.
It's 10:15 a.m. This is one of the earliest podcasts I've ever done. And you're living in Philly right now. What are you doing in town?
I'm out here a lot more now. I was mentioning Maria Menounos and Kevin Undergaro. Well, I met them at WrestleMania. Well, I met them before, but they came up to me at WrestleMania, and Kevin, like, he wanted to, get some projects going with me, because they have AfterBuzz TV.
Oh yeah, I've been there. They got a great setup.
Okay, yeah. Well,
they're like the rulers of that world.
Yeah, and also at their house they have an amazing studio that he built, and so
is it anything like his studio here?
It's comparable.
I'm kidding you.
This is amazing, Steve.
We're in a 4x4 table with Pearl Beer neon clock. It's a complete bullshit. No, I think it's some badass stuff.
We're trying to paint a picture here.
Yeah, we are painting a picture. It's reality. This place is bullshit. What kind of project you gonna do?
It's like a podcast, but a TV show,
right?
Because we're using the studios. And I just want to take advantage of all the...
What's the subject matter?
Well, people want to hear me talk about wrestling. So that's what I'm going to be doing. But, I like to talk about a lot of other things. I like to think I know something about a lot of things, But I don't know... do people want to hear me talk about those things, though?
Dude, that's a tough thing, man. Like with my podcast, it's like sometimes, I'll just get on my computer. I'll get people to send in questions at SteveAustinShow.com, and I'll answer those, give advice, stuff like that, or I'll talk to some people from MMA world,
right.
A lot of pro wrestling talk. I mean, that's because that's my core demographic, as it is yours, and so I think people have been accepting of that because it always kind of does come back to pro wrestling just by default. And here's the thing for you, and I bet I can speak for you as I say this for myself. We're proud of our roots. We're proud of where we come from. But there is another part of us, a big part of us, that likes just to talk about other shit.
And, I personally, I want people to know I'm not, I'm a little bit more well-read than they might think, or, that I'm not just this.
Yeah, just a wrestler.
Yeah,
or a guy who knows about the wrestling business.
Right, I know about things going on in the world, and I think I have a pretty strong opinion on most of it. So I like to share that. I don't know if people want to hear it, though.
No, but I think the thing is, if you set the table like that, but if you cover a little bit of wrestling, and then kind of segue into other stuff, I think people will be accepting of it. Because, at the end of the day, I'd like to think that people tune into this show because they want to hear me talk.
Yeah.
And then whatever turns into it turns into. And I'm just trying to entertain. Man, I always kind of consider this like I don't use the name Seinfeld because that guy's a comedy genius.
Sure.
But Seinfeld was a show about nothing, really.
Right.
So my podcast is really about nothing, as long as I can either spread information or entertain somebody while they're driving to work, from work, or at work, fucking off. That's all I'm trying to accomplish.
Right.
And if I can spread a little 411 or some messages or some tips, traps, and bullshit that I've been through along the way, and help a brother out, hey, that's cool. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to save the world with this thing. It's entertainment for me. It's a release for me. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping it's entertaining. It can engage people, and they say, hey, man, that was pretty cool. I got to learn about Chip Foose, the hot rod guy, or I got a chance to learn about, whatever.
Sure.
So
you want it to be kind of uplifting, or, at least not be a Debbie Downer.
Well, the thing,
right?
What I try not to do on this thing, Sean, is I don't like to go negative on people.
Right.
When I first started, every now and then I'd talk about someone and not a disparaging light, but maybe I'd take a shot or two. I don't even do that anymore just because, man, I just don't want to talk negative about anybody. The roads I've been down in my life, I've done enough things that, where I had to learn some lessons, but I just don't want to shit on anybody. I don't want to make fun of anybody. If I ain't got nothing good to say about somebody,
Sure.
I just leave them out of conversation. Or if I'm breaking down a match, I can be honest about the match, but just not totally shit on someone, but give them some trade secrets or a little 411 of what you should have done, or here's what would have liked to see, but I don't like throwing anybody under the bus.
Yeah, and I it's obvious too. Like, you're really good about that, and I try to be, but I find myself all the time thinking, like, after I say something, oh, maybe I should have worded that different, or maybe I could have gone without saying it altogether, But it's just something, it's in my head, and I have a hard time not spitting it out sometimes.
But sometimes what happens is, and I want to be very clear, sometimes when I say things, and even to this day, people will take bits and pieces of phrases or take me out of context. Case in point, I've talked about this a couple of times. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I said a few matches ago, AJ Styles carried Roman Reigns to a couple of world-class matches. Did you get to see those matches?
Yeah, they were great.
Badass. First one was in particular, and that's a hard match to follow. And you got an 18-year vet. AJ can work his ass off.
Man.
And Roman Reigns was coming around, but he's a 5-year guy. So I said that, AJ carried him. And so all of a sudden, the Google alerts. Steve Austin says AJ, quote-unquote, carried Roman Reigns. And it's like, dude, that like it was an insult to Roman Reigns. No, it wasn't. Roman did his part.
Exactly.
But, Sean, as long as you've been in the business, how long you been in now?
29 years.
29 years. Okay. If you're working with a 6-8 year guy, who's going to carry the match, him or you?
Me.
Okay, so is that an insult to the guy you're working with?
I would hope not.
Is it an insult for me to notice that? Hey, goddamn, Sean's the veteran in the ring. He's carrying this match. No, but I mean, just people take you out of context.
And you would think, I mean, any other time they'd be shitting on Roman. But now they're wanting to come to, hey, he got carried, I mean, it's kind of funny.
What'd you make out of his drug suspension?
Big. I mean, you know what? It's not an ideal
drug,
situation.
substance, or a wellness
right. We don't even know what it was.
I don't know what it was.
Sure. What did everybody want? His head on a silver platter? I mean, we're human beings, man. And it's the first time he's popped dirty on something since he's been there.
Right.
And so now, I mean, come on. If it's an ongoing thing, maybe, but I mean, come on, we're human beings. And there's a 3-strike thing for a reason in the wellness policy. So, I mean, that's just my opinion. I think people are making a huge deal out because they just don't like the guy.
Dude, are you a UFC fan?
Yeah.
God, did you watch UFC 200?
No, I had other things going on.
Oh, man. Well, anyway, at the end of the day, before the day even started, John Jones pissed dirty.
Right.
And he said it was a substance that he couldn't even pronounce.
It was an estrogen blocker.
Was it?
Chael Sonnen said it was an estrogen blocker.
Yep.
And he pretty much, when he said something, he pretty much knows what's up.
Yeah. Chael ain't spitting out a bunch of bullshit that usually isn't pretty factual. So, that being said, man, facing a 2-year suspension, dude. And if they're going to pop, what was it, Nick Diaz for 2 years for smoking dope?
Right.
And dope don't help you do nothing but chill or fix your glaucoma. It damn sure don't help you in a fight.
It's not.
I ain't never known nobody that said, hey, man, I'm going to go kick so-and-so's ass. I'm going to smoke a joint first.
Right.
I've never seen or heard that happen.
You might think you're going to do it, smoke a joint, and you say, never mind.
Yeah. Bill Burr does this real funny rant about, back in the days, baseball players up on coke. Yeah. You can see every stitch coming in, and they're wired in the 13th inning. But for dope, no, it doesn't do that. It doesn't enhance anything. So 2 years for some pot. So I don't see how Jones comes out of this with a career intact. Young cat had a Nike sponsorship, everything in the world going for him, and all of a sudden, boom. He gets, is this a second strike because this is the 2-year ban because he had to hit and run.
Yeah.
He was blowing the car, right?
Yep.
So, dude, does he have a future following this? Because you know how fast this sport is evolving. And as badass and as dynamic as that guy is, 2 years on the shelf is 2 years on the shelf. And then on top of that, before you kick in, where's the money come from to pay the bills? Because as you know, Sean, and I know if we were to leave the ring for 2 years back in our primes, what are we going to do to pay the bills?
Right,
you ain't making the same dough.
And we built up a pretty good nut per month. No matter how much you try not to, that nut gets pretty big.
Right. And so if you ain't got no money coming in to pay the current nut, which you might have it rat-holed away, but you don't want to touch that money. So, what do you do to generate income for 2 years at that same level? Because you don't. Dude, you got a Nike sponsorship. That's like hallowed territory for a UFC fighter.
Yeah. It just blows my mind that he would knowingly do that with everything at stake.
Man,
but here's the thing.
He unknowingly did it.
But I don't buy the whole, I didn't know I took this or that either. I just think, you pop dirty, man. It's just like, no matter if it happened that way or not, people don't want to hear that shit, Steve.
Well, no, just because nobody's buying it.
Right.
I mean,
regardless.
2016.
Yeah.
I mean, let's go back to the Lance Armstrong days. Man, I ain't dirty. I passed every test. Okay, here's a dude, what he won 8 Tour de France's.
Yes.
And cycling's one of the dirtiest sports in the world.
I was just sorry.
So he's 8 years. I mean, 8 Tour de France wins, and everybody's getting popped. Everybody in the sport's dirty, but he's the only one clean, and he's beating everybody clean. I don't know.
The reason he got popped, I think, was because he was an asshole to his people.
He was. He threw everybody under the bus.
Because he wasn't doing anything anybody else wasn't doing.
No.
You know, and that's the thing. The culture is forcing everybody to lie.
Right.
You know, well, not everybody, because everybody's not doing stuff, but, like, I'm sorry, Steve, my opinion is that 90% or more of guys are doing something. And they have to. If they don't, they lose a competitive advantage. I don't think it's even cheating. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong.
Dude, I don't think it's cheating either. I just think as long as you have a baseline or a level that you can't go above,
sure, and
that way the field is level for everybody. And I would go so far as to say, dude, and this is just, okay, this is me and you.
Right.
Just if we're all competing in whatever endeavor it is, if I could take a little something to make me look or feel or recover faster,
sure.
Yeah, I'm willing to take that little bit just to give me some edge. Everybody else got the same edge, but I'm going to feel better than just being 100% clean, 100% natty, and you got no recuperative or recovery abilities. So I'm down. It's just like, okay, when the 2016 Olympics roll around, okay, everybody starts running the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, the 400-meter, the relay, the pole vault, the discus throw. Dude, do I want to see them guys like run, like a 12-second 100?
No.
No, I don't. A 12.5? No. Do I want to see the guy, only be able to pole vault 17 feet rather than almost 20?
People want to see world records continue to be broken, man.
What? Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's only going to happen because of all of the years built up to now you got these high scientific testing, but people been doing this shit, man, since, God dang, when were steroids invented? In the 40s and 50s, when it was about D-ball, was about the only gimmick, and that's coming from either Russia or Germany or whatever, but it's spun up to, all this scientific, got the designer stuff, go back to the Barry Bonds, Balco days. I mean, they got some slick-ass stuff. I can't imagine that this stuff is too harmful on the human body if you can only take just a cut hair of a dosage, that you're not just blowed out and going crazy. Take a little bit.
The thing that really gets me is the general public expects these guys and ladies to go out there and just destroy their bodies for their entertainment, but yet they want to decide what they can take and what they can't, or any of these people that are making the laws that don't know anything about it. I don't want to get off on the soapbox here, but come on.
Well, do you get on a soapbox? You're going to have your show on AfterBuzz.
Yeah, that's
get
true.
on a soapbox
I might as well get used to being
but I'm just for, do you want everybody gassed to the gill so that their health is in peril or risk? No, I ain't saying that. But, man, am I for a little bit of, take the NFL. I don't know what their levels are. I don't know what their policy is. But if those guys ain't on just anything, there ain't no way everybody in the NFL is 100% clean, because that sport is too long, too violent, too rugged for those cats to recover from a week-to-week basis. And then all of a sudden, what was it, a couple of years ago, Goodell was talking about expanding a season from 16 to 18 games. I mean, it's like, are you kidding me? You got 4 preseason games, and then you get the playoffs. What are you asking these guys, to do?
Wow.
And they're supposed to do it clean? I mean, willy-nilly, straight up? Yeah. That ain't happening.
Oh, man. Yeah. I guess we could talk about this all day long.
You're listening to another classic episode of The Steve Austin Show, only on PodcastOne.
Hey, man, do you own or rent your home? Sure you do, and I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com. Hey, dude, it's been a minute since I've seen you.
Yeah.
And the last time I called you, it was bad news. I just got to ask you a little bit about this, just because you was with her for a while.
Almost 4 years.
Yeah, the passing of Chyna. Yeah. Because I tell you what, for some reason, man, I got a phone call I was one of the first guys notified. And, man, it rocked my world. And I didn't even know her as good as a lot of people did, but I knew her. We were good friends. And had a lot of conversations and a lot of hijinks and laughs. She was a cool, funny chick.
Incredibly funny, dry sense of humor.
Oh, yeah. She was quick.
Yeah.
And she was a sweet chick. But talk about this for a second. Remember when she came in? I mean, I think I was at the hotel because for some reason, I never ever traveled with Sean or Triple H, but for some reason, either I was traveling with them or I showed up at the same hotel that they did. And it might have been Boston somewhere, and it was TV taping the next day. And Joni was there. And that's when, because she went to killer school with like Triple H did. And so, I guess that was going to be her introduction to Vince, I guess. I don't know what the deal was, but I just remember seeing her that first time. But, from the time she got in the business until, she left the business for whatever reason that was. But, dude, that chick came in there and got over a total greenhorn, went through killer school, but green as grass, come in there, and it was good booking and it was good positioning, but she got over like nobody's business. I mean, she was as over as anybody else was.
Absolutely. And come on, let's be honest too. When she uncorks one of those forearms and knocks Steve Austin down, that doesn't hurt.
But I was always happy to sell for him, man, because I'm in.
And that set it up for everybody else to not be able to say, "Oh, I can't sell for you," because Stone Cold did. So
but she got over.
She was great.
A lot of people say, "Hey, no, man, she was over."
I had some of her first matches with her, and like when she started having matches, and it was with the guys. Well, it was with it was her and Kane versus Hunter and I.
Yeah.
In Memphis, I think was the first time, and she was great. She did great. It was we kept it basic.
So what was your take on that? Well, you're like, oh man, I can't go in there with a girl. And
well, they wanted me to do the job, right? And I didn't like it. I boo-boo face. So Hunter was just like, fuck it, I'll do it, But other than that, I sold like a motherfucker for her.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't hit her though.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. Like I hit her with an elbow to the gut to break loose of the sleeper hold. But other than that, I would figure out other ways to stop her.
Did you see that? I know you're on Twitter. What's your Twitter account?
At the real XPac.
At the real XPac. Did you see that? That little video that started floating around. That was when we was over in Germany. I don't know if you remember this tour, but I was working with Triple H, and Chyna was his heater.
Yeah.
And she was ringside, and there'd always be a spot in the match where she would. Triple H, she would do something, and then Triple H would do something, draw the referee, and so I'd either be on the apron and she'd be choking me, or I'd be on the floor. But she'd be getting heat,
right?
And then so anyway, what happens is I end up giving her a stunner. She flops out of the ring, bam, hit the stunner on Triple H. I go for the 1, 2, 3, get it. I'm rolling over. I'm taking the tape off my wrist. And this German fan bum rushes the ring. Did you see that?
Yes.
Dude, here's the thing. I'm glad I finally got someone to spin a story from, because I was just telling a story by myself the other day. But here's the thing. Hunter ain't never had no amateur background, ain't got no shoot background. He's just a pro wrestler.
Right.
And he's about as good as a mellow of a guy that I've ever seen in the business.
Yeah.
As far as level-headed cats, never took no pills, no booze, no nothing. Level-headed, straight-up business. And he played the game, so to speak, just as far as the business. And that's just straight up. That's not me kissing no ass.
No, you're 100%.
Dude, I hit that stunner, got that 3 count, and as soon as that guy hit the ring, Triple H had been laying there just kind of looking up at the lights, and he's out of his peripheral vision. He saw that guy drive by. I've never seen him get up so fast. He waist-locked that guy, belly to back, suplexed him like a shoot. I mean, it's like something a Dynamite Kid would do.
Right.
And then he's going to start grounding, pounding him, and the whole time he's doing it, he's saying, "Goddamn, security, get in here! Security, get in here!" And it took him forever to get in there. And I guess it was Kyoto started putting the boots to him. And a lot of people got on Kyoto's ass putting the boots to him.
Hey, that's how it used to be.
Hey, thank you. How many times?
Step over that rail, you're done.
Exactly. How many stories you heard from the old timers 30, 40 years back, and then talking about getting knifed? Who was that got just gaffed? Was that Ole?
Several people. I know Malenko did.
Okay.
Him and Orton Sr. were in a tag match and with the Scott brothers, and they shit started going, getting out of hand, and on the way back he got stabbed. So, like, that's happened a bunch of times.
But people don't understand that, man. I mean, so anyway, that's that old school heat, man. And because whether, I don't think the business had been, we weren't sports entertainment yet. Maybe we were, but still, feelings are feelings. You're trying to affect that crowd. But back in the old days, man, that heels would go over on the babyface, said fuck them, and then goddamn, the crowd would be so hot they'd literally have to fight together as a team, whether it was 2 of them or 4 of them working as a tag, and basically fight their way. And sometimes guys from the back would come help them fight their way to the back. Yeah. But that's just the way it is. So here's the deal. It was probably 96, 97, 98 back in. Kid hits the ring. Triple H jumps on him. Chioda puts the boots to him. Here's the thing, dude. When you're on the road 300 days a year, you're putting your ass on the line, and, dude, it's a circle. It's an inner circle. That's what the boys are. Yep. And it's a club. And you ain't in the club. Now, we want you to pay your money to come see the club, and we want you to cheer and boo, whatever. You got carte blanche to do anything, but when you jump in that ring, you ain't a member of the club.
That's right. You stay on the other side of that rail.
So was Chioda justified with kicking that kid?
Yes.
He was.
It might seem wrong to an outsider, but trust me, that's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Because, it just is what it is. And the thing about it was, here's the thing, I thought it was a rib. Because a lot of times, those UK shows where we're in a week in each one and traveling, and, the back of those buses were brutal. Yeah, we were partying. But a lot of times we'd do impromptu run-ins and take a guy's finish, roll out of the ring. So when a guy first hit me, I thought it was one of the boys. And I didn't have time to even respond, and Triple H took care of the business.
Did you sell it?
Yeah. So
I just turned the guy's punch.
But it's like, hey, man, I'm the number one babyface in the world. I can't jump in and start throttling a guy, too, because Triple H was being pretty effective, along with Chioda kicking a guy. So I just kind of sat there and watch and, look for security. But, dude, it is what it is. Yeah. So what are you supposed to do?
Well, do you remember the 6-man we had in Garden? It was you and APA against, like, Billy Road Dogg and I, and the dude jumped the ring and he got past Jim Dotson. May he rest in peace. And he was about ready to get into the ring, and Ron was eyeing him up, man. Was about ready to kick his head off his shoulders, and I think it was Road Dogg, saved him, might have saved the guy's life.
Really?
Yeah. But, so that was, that was somebody thinking maybe it's not a good idea to do that anymore.
Did you ever have enough heat that when you were walking back to the crowd you felt threatened?
Yeah, sure. And that was mainly in Mexico.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because, the people are still buying it down there.
What was it easier for a white guy to get heat in Mexico?
Sure.
Because you were just mocking or doing whatever.
Sure, and everybody falls into that cheap heat thing where you disparage the country, throw tortillas at,
Right.
So it's like, and the people they eat it up.
Yeah.
But you're getting hit with, rocks, spark plugs, cups of piss, dirty diapers, bags of hot sauce that burn you like acid, things like that.
Here's the thing, Jericho used to do this quite a bit, and I don't think he's ever been in harm's way. But a lot of times Jericho would do that thing where he'd lean back on the guardrail against the crowd because the people loved him. But, he would always get warned, or other people that would do that as well. They'd say, hey, man, be careful when you do that because you just don't know. And I know I can almost say assuredly with 100% accuracy that Chris Jericho was never hurt, but a lot of the veterans or the old-timers kind of frown upon that because you're trusting is like my old saying way back in the day with Brian Pillman, DTA, brother, don't trust anybody. Yeah. You give your back to someone, you just don't know what's going to happen. Or if the fans, sometimes they get overzealous and they just unintentionally.
I felt it when I've gotten close to the people and they've gotten on me. It's happened several times, and you kind of blow it off when you're out there, but it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you think twice.
Yeah.
So
going back to the Chyna thing, when you saw her get over, and all of a sudden, she has her deal with Triple H, and then I heard the word on the street when she came up to renegotiate. I just thought she was asking for a pretty good dollar, and I think we both know the number.
Yeah.
I got to give her credit for having the moxie to ask for that number, and she was hot. But, man, everybody in the territory was hot.
Yeah.
I was white hot. And so was it Vince didn't want to go there, or was that when the Triple H and Stephanie thing started happening?
It was a little bit before that.
Right.
When she was asking for that.
It was just big money.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. I mean, I give her credit for asking, but I wouldn't have. That's not a hill I would have died on, because there's other things you can get. Like, they wouldn't give me the downside I wanted when I came back, and so I just hit them up for, other things that made up for it.
Right.
Like, I'm like, okay, 180 days, but 15 days a month. So
Right.
I get the other 15 for my family. And they thought that was a good idea at first, and instead of giving me the money I wanted, but it ended up biting them in the ass, because I told all my friends, hey, 15 days a month. That's what you do.
So what happened when she left? Because I know she just done that one guest appearance on a television show, and then all of a sudden she had designs on, I'm going to be an actress.
Yeah.
Because at that point, she left the company, right?
Yes. Well, that was, obviously when all this stuff happened with Steph. And
So then
Paul.
that's when it happened.
Sure.
So then that's when she left.
Yeah.
But she had, were y'all on Item yet?
No. I didn't see her for a couple of years. Like, I didn't, when we became one,
Right.
that was never in my mind. I just, was
Right.
going to visit her. I hadn't seen her in a couple of years. We were all friends.
Yeah. But I'd seen a lot of people.
She did great, though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. But I just always was recommending to people, like, if you got designs on doing something else, man, stay in the system for as long as you can. Let the system help you, or use the system to your advantage. Keep your profile up, because, man, when you came out here, my thoughts are, and I don't know this, but I'm just like, what was she, 5'8", 5'9"?
5'9".
What, about $180?
Yeah. And she slimmed down, but she was going to be. She has we have our frame that we're born with, right? And I mean, she's a big girl, incredible genetics.
Yeah, great genetics. But I was just thinking, man, when she left the company to come out here, man, I wished her all the luck in the world, because when you know how funny she is and how personable she is and charismatic, but man, when you come out to L.A. with everybody out here, there's just not a whole lot of parts for a chick is 5'8", $180, or go down to $160. I mean, she's still got a frame.
It's almost like something has to be specifically written for her.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I thought she did pretty. Like, looking at the things she did when she left, she got another Playboy cover, which was really hard.
Well, that
after
first
the relationship
Playboy
with Vince.
sold through the roof.
So did the second
if
one.
I'm not the second one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because even though she didn't have the WWE machine for publicity, when she was there, she kept in contact with everybody she met.
Smart.
Yeah, so she had all those contacts. So when she finally did talk, having to do another cover, she hustled, man, and that thing sold just as much as the first one. Both of them were like the highest ones that they ever had.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
that's
so
absolutely
she
incredible.
did that. She did things. She did that celebrity boxing thing with Joey Buttafuoco. That wasn't the best idea.
Nah, it wasn't.
But I mean, she held her own.
Yeah.
Because he was trying to take her head off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him at her memorial. I was at her memorial.
Yeah.
And I didn't even recognize him, man. He's old as shit looking. But anyways, she got the Billboard Music Awards. She got to be a presenter as part of the deal for that celebrity boxing thing. So that was good. And she did some movies and things like that. And the main thing is, like, she got a really good gig with New Japan and, like, had a feature match in the Tokyo Dome in a New Japan ring, man. That's huge.
Who'd you work with?
Chono.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. Here's the deal with that. I was telling her, because we had just gotten together at that point, and I'm telling her about how Japan works. I'm like, the media over there treats it like a shoot, and, like, they have press conferences, and you can shoot your own angles. And so she starts shooting one with Chono on her own.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was he down with it?
Well, he had to be, because the people...
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have to be, but he was a good sport about it.
Yeah.
Until he took her head off.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but she did good, man. She did really good in that match.
So you said this is about when you guys were y'all had hooked up?
Yeah.
Okay, you'd known each other for how long?
I don't know how many years.
How did this thing organically happen?
Just, I had a breakup right before I saw her, so I was kind of down, and I was really, like, kind of the boo-hoo, that poor woe is me shit,
Yeah, it's a standard 2 weeks shit.
Yeah, and she was there to scoop me up, and, and things just hit. It just happened, man. I don't even know how to explain it, but I just remember Hunter texting me like, "Hey man, hey kid, what kind of psycho shit are you getting yourself into now?"
Really?
Yeah, he wasn't like he was mad or, "Hey, what do you do?" Like, he was just worried about me.
Why? Because you were there?
Yeah, well, I mean, he had his experiences with her that I don't want to get too much into, but, so he was just going by what his experiences were.
I got you.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
I mean, so much has been, like, man, here's the thing. I was always hoping, man, that after all the bad blood that happened between us, that, we could bury that, we could squash that. I just don't like having that shit in my life, man. People that, I like to make amends with people. Man, it fucking sucks when somebody that you really love dies hating your guts, man. That fucking sucks, Steve.
I know. I sent you a text message as, "Hey, man, how you doing?" I don't think I ever heard back from him.
No, it was fucked up, man. Yeah.
What were you thinking when she was on the Surreal Life? Were you both on, or did you make some cameos?
I came on. I hadn't heard from her. Once she got on there, I didn't hear from her at all, man. So I was, I was a real bitch back then, man. I just kind of lost my own identity, and I don't even know how to explain it right now, but it wasn't cool, man. I was pathetic back then, but I wasn't a dick or anything like that. But I missed her. I bought her I think it was like 10 dozen roses or some stupid shit like that, and I brought them to the Surreal Life people, and they said, "Oh, why don't you bring them up to the house?" And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Walked right into a trap, man.
Dude, it was a shoot?
Yeah.
So it was a shoot, they turned it into a work for them.
Yeah.
And they captured it.
Yeah, man. And I didn't do myself any favors, and they chopped it up.
Oh, dude, when they chop up something on reality television, they can make you look good, bad, indifferent, fucked up, whatever, because of editing.
Yeah.
You just showed up with the roses.
Yeah.
So, man, at that time, you weren't in a good place.
I was in a better place than I had been previously, but still, man, I was still...
But you were using.
Still using, just not... I would fall off every once in a while, but it wasn't an everyday thing like it had been for a few years before I went and got cleaned up a little bit.
Now, she had to have been on something.
Totally, yeah. I mean, we were doing, doing stimulants, a couple different kinds, pill, different things, man.
But when you look back on that, you probably don't look back on it. But man, like hindsight being 2020, you're just like, God damn, what was I thinking?
Yeah. Well, I know what I was thinking. The thinking was messed up, man. I carry around a lot of guilt, man, because I wasn't a positive influence. She wasn't on me either, but that doesn't, But if you weren't a positive influence, you didn't introduce her to anything. No. She was already there. Right.
So then how could you not have been
But I want to be a net positive in somebody's life when I enter it.
Got you.
And I want them to be at least as good as they were, if not better, when I leave them, and not in worse shape. And that didn't happen, man. So it fucks with my head right now.
But you loved her.
Yeah.
But so two people who are, can I use the word addicts?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
You love each other, but there's just a shitload of dysfunction there.
Yeah,
at every level. Because I mean, what are you based on? Because if reality is ground zero, I mean, and being clean,
yes,
and a relationship that you want to be in, but you're both fucked up and you both have your issues. And then she carried a lot of stuff from her past that I never really understood or knew about. What was the deal with that? Because I never went there with her.
Sure.
I think she had a rough upbringing with her father.
Sure, the father and and the mother and the father was kind of a grifter. And
really?
Yeah. And like really brilliant, man. She would talk about him. And, she would talk about some of the things he did that were negative, that negatively affected her. But I would also see the sparkle in her eye, how much she really, loved the guy, and looked up to him at the same time.
But when you say grifter, do you remember that movie, The Grifters?
Yeah, of course. That's why I used it.
I can't remember the lady who played that. She was phenomenal.
Angelica Houston.
Yes,
yeah.
God, she was badass. But, I mean, like he was a worker?
Yeah, he was a con artist, yeah. Yeah, she told me a lot about
yeah.
You know, and but she had some childhood trauma. I mean, I wouldn't want to screw the story up and do it, not do it justice. But we can just imagine some of the things people go through.
Yes. I think we both know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So anyway, you guys are together. How did y'all come up with the idea? Hey man, let's make a sex tape.
My best recollection, we were living in Beverly Hills over here off of Beverly Glen in Wilshire, in one of Donald Sterling's buildings. One of the people that worked there was always coming up and hanging out, and it was a female security guard. And I think she floated the idea about, because of the Paris Hilton thing. And I just kind of built from there, and she was down for it, and I was at that point, okay, I'll do whatever, whatever made her happy. And it was both of our, it wasn't, I would never blame anything on her.
But what was the motivation? Was it money? Was this going to get us famous or more well known, or opportunity? What was the motivation? Purely financial?
I'm pretty sure.
When you say you're pretty sure,
it's hard to put yourself in somebody else's head. I'm not.
But were you so?
My own, as far as my own motivation.
Yeah,
sure. It was financial, and also, hey, she wants to do it, and okay.
Okay, so
I'm fine with it. Okay.
How does this process work? All of a sudden, you guys just start screwing. Is there someone writing a script? Are you calling the match on the fly? I mean, serious question. How do you set something like up? I have a sex life.
Sure.
I've never made a sex tape. What goes into making one? Is it planned out? That's a legit question.
There was just some, monkeying around. Okay, this is how it went.
Right.
At the time that it all just got started, the discussion about it. Okay, we monkeyed around. I don't want to get too.
Right, you don't get graphic, but
but I'm holding the camera and
right.
Things are happening and whatnot. But then didn't really talk about it much after that, and I started getting not started. I already was, but really, really bad on the drugs, and so Hunter. He came. First of all, they tried to send Kev to come get me, and I pulled a ghost on Kev. And
when Hunter, you pulled a ghost, that means you disappeared.
Yeah, I disappeared on him when he just
gone.
Her place, and because I'd called Paul, and I'm like, dude, I need help. Because I'd seen him not too long prior to that, and he's like, if you need some help, man, please call me, and I wouldn't. Man, the last thing I ever want to do is ask people for anything, and it's that pride, but finally I just...
But is it pride when you're on drugs, or is it denial?
It's
and stubborn?
It's that at first, and then when you realize...
Because to me, you'd almost spin that into pride, but it's like everything but because it's denial and, hey, you really want to stay on. That's
fair. Yeah, you're right, actually.
But you need help.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I'd already been through it before. It was several years prior to that, in my early 20s. And I was really good after that. Things went really well.
Let me break into your story.
Sure.
When I met you way back in the day with Brian, and you was driving that brown...
That little shitbox Chevette? Yeah.
Were you on back in?
No.
Okay.
No way, man. The only thing I ever touched back then was some pot and some alcohol.
When did you start getting heavy into the shit?
Came to WWF.
Really?
Sure.
Well, what was it? Was it just pain pills?
Pills, yeah. Somebody breaks out pills. Hey, here, you want to try this? And they don't mean anything by it. It's just how things were.
Right.
Okay,
so back to the story. You give Kevin a ghost treatment, but I asked you about the filming session. Was there anybody else in the house? A producer?
Maybe. At one in one of the little video clips, a female one of the girls was holding the camera.
Right.
But that was all. Here's the deal. What I was getting at, Steve, was Paul came to get me. He took me to Atlanta, and him and Vince paid for rehab. That was before the wellness policy. They just did it out of their own pocket. Yeah. I wasn't ready for the help that I asked for. So I got out of there, and I got my ass right back to L.A.
But you just said something. I wasn't ready for the help I asked for.
Yeah.
God, I mean, that's about as denial as you can get.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking about a treatment like that, I'm going to imagine
$30,000, man.
$30,000 a month.
Yeah.
I mean, how long were you there?
I didn't last a month before they kicked me out.
Okay, so you kicked out. What happened?
As far as why I got kicked out, or
both? Why'd you get kicked
because
out?
I'm getting fucked up in rehab, man. You can't do.
How are you scoring in rehab?
Because the situation was that it was like a campus, and they housed us in this apartment complex, and the problem was it was like a mile down the street from the dungeon.
Okay. Let's clarify this for people. Let's clarify what the dungeon is in Atlanta.
It's the old Ramada that all the boys. I mean, basically, we lived there. WCW guys lived there, man.
Arn lived there.
Yeah.
Flair lived there. I lived outside of Atlanta, so I would frequent there when everybody was there. And I'm not dropping anybody's names into grease. I'm just saying that's damn near where the whole roster of WCW lived.
The dungeon was the bar.
And most of it's Carolina guys. But the Atlanta boys, would have their houses, but that's where everybody would congregate if you didn't live there, like you said. So anyway, what he's saying is, since the dungeon was, a block down the road?
It was a few miles, but it was pretty close.
But that was where you were getting your hookups from the other boys.
Sure.
Gotcha.
And
they would let you out?
Sure. We could go movies and shit once we built up a little bit of, good time.
Right.
So, and there was you could go to the store and everything, and, so we were drinking, buying, like, cough tablets that wouldn't show up on a drug test. And
what would you do with the cough tablet?
Take a shitload of them, and they make you trip out.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It wasn't
Hey,
cool,
did you
man.
ever drink that shit they call purple?
No.
It's basically cough medicine. I don't really get
this is called codeine or whatever, but it's just something that came along way after I was in
what was the furthest depths you reached to when it came time you needed a buzz, so you didn't have proper shit, so...
Oh, man.
I hear about these people doing these bath salts and stuff like that, which I can't fathom that, but what was the worst shit you tried?
Well, the meth and shooting the meth, man, booting fucking meth, IV in it. I mean, we talked about that before when you asked me about that match with AJ. But when you just the way you just asked that, the worst thing I can remember doing, man, is having some meth in a bar down in a strip club in Tijuana, and going in the bathroom stall to shoot it.
Yeah.
And taking water out of the toilet to do it with, man.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, man. Christ. That's how fucking bad I want to get high.
Yeah. Okay. So
you asked.
Hey, man, they say don't drink the water and you use the
water. Right.
I'm not laughing because it's like, God damn, that's pretty desperate.
Yeah.
So you go back, and then where do you go from that? You get kicked out of rehab. So what are you doing?
Here's the thing, man. I was being subversive to other people. It's one thing you fucking your own treatment up, but when you start affecting other people's treatment and, poisoning the water supply, so to speak, I'm hanging up shit in the lunchroom saying, AA is a cult and all that shit. And
where were you working?
Huh?
Where were you working?
What do you mean?
Well, you said you were hanging up.
Oh, in the cafeteria at the treatment center.
Got you.
And it was time to go, man. I can't be affecting other people's, recovery like that. So.
But going back to the sex tape, what become of that? You don't have to drop a number on me, but did you make any dough from this?
It's 6 figures.
Okay.
And, I got $50K up front, and she got 100. So, but what happened was I came back after rehab.
Yeah.
And we actually filmed after the deal was made. They wanted more footage, and we filmed it after. And then I flew to China and filmed some footage over there just so they could add it to the,
for the theme of the thing.
Yeah.
Dude, how'd you feel about that once it was done?
I felt like dog shit, Steve.
Yeah, because I just looking
My
at you,
kids,
look
man,
at your face,
my family.
I don't think you're proud of that.
And not at all, man. It's hard. I try not to be ashamed of things because shame is not a good fucking thing to have.
Well, if it harbors on you too long, I would imagine it would be a trigger.
But it's okay to not feel good about shit you did in the past, you know. And I can't. Obviously it goes without saying we can't change it, man. But man, I really wish that wouldn't have happened. And I mean, it hurt her, man. Even though we both were in, like the artwork on the cover of the DVD was so humiliating for her, and the shit that was written on it, and so I get it, man. And really, that was one of the things that led to the downward spiral, and she's dead now, man.
Yeah. You got the call and you kind of went AWOL. I didn't hear from you. And you and me don't call and text each other every single day.
No.
You're coming to town. We keep
but I'll
stuff like
if
that.
I see, I'll return your shit pretty fast.
But so then you heard the news, and one of the hardest things was for you was that maybe she went out of this world still hating or not in a good place with you.
Yeah.
And so that hurts you. So when you heard that news, was that a trigger for you? Did you say, "Hey man, I just want to go get fucked up"?
Right.
How do you deal with that? Because you're straight. Right?
Yeah, man.
What'd you do?
I use my cannabis medicinally, and I leave it at that. I'll have a beer or something once in a while.
Right.
Alcohol's not really my thing, so.
Right.
But that's a really good question, because when it happened, Hunter's texting me, 'cause he's in Europe, and the first thing he's thinking about, fucking worried about kid, right? Kid's gonna fall off the deep end. And I get it, man. Legitimate concern, especially with my track record. And but I didn't go there, Steve. I had my dog, man. That's why I love my dog so much, is shit like that, man. That dog saved my life. Maybe not. I may be getting over dramatic there, but that dog keeps me from wanting to go get fucked up or do self-harm. Right. Yeah, man. So I didn't go there, Steve. Not once. Sometimes I'll take Xanax and that for the flights, or if I get a really like a PTSD anxiety shit. But I wouldn't even go there because I didn't want to self-medicate too much, man. I wanted to sit with the shit I was feeling. But it's important to do that.
Yeah, that is. But had you went there with the other stuff, dude, you would have spiraled off.
Yeah, man.
And how old are you now?
40. I'll be 44 tomorrow.
See, here's the thing. As long as I've known you, it just seems like I'm 51, but I've known you forever from when we first met. We don't hang around a whole lot, but you're still a young guy. But at 44, it ain't time for Sean Waltman to go back down that road.
That's right.
That you were on and get twisted up in a cyclone of bullshit that you might not kick out of. But, because, dude, quite frankly, right now with everything that you've been through, if you ain't learned your lesson, and I've done a lot of shit, and I finally learned from it. So, but yeah, you can't go down that road.
No,
like you said, you medicinal marijuana, that for a flight. Yeah, that's sure. That's above board. That's acceptable. That's doable. But other one, you can't afford to do that.
No, and I know that, and but see, a lot of people know that, and they still go down that road. It's just, I just didn't.
Road
Steve.
closed.
I can't live like that, man. And I've talked about things I've done, like the attempt at suicide and all that. And man, it ain't gonna happen for me anymore like that. My life's too good.
You're listening to another classic episode of The Steve Austin Show, only on PodcastOne.
Support for this podcast comes from Pluto TV. Need an escape? Drop into Pluto TV for a world of free TV. Stream hundreds of channels and thousands of movies and shows all for free. Yeah, free. No subscriptions, no fees. Imagine 24/7 channels of Narcos, CSI, Star Trek, Survivor, and everything else from hit movies to binge-worthy TV shows, the latest news, live sports, comedy, and more. What are you waiting for? Download the free Pluto TV app for Android, iPhone, Roku, and Fire TV and start streaming now. Pluto TV. Drop in, watch free.
You're 44. You ever thought? Because I always watch the boys when one another will leave us.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, I'm always adding up the average age. You know, a lot of cats in the 40s, late 30s.
Yeah.
And then when Macho kicked at, was he 56 or 58?
Yeah.
You know, he was driving his Jeep, but it was a heart attack. It wasn't drug-induced. You just think, man, you got an early expiration date.
Yes.
You ever think how long you're going to try to make it out of this world?
Yeah.
I mean, do you have a goal? Because I'm pretty realistic. I beat the shit out of myself. I'd be happy if I could hit 65. It'd be cool. 70 would kind of be the goal.
Yeah.
If anything past that would be gravy. But dude, like 65, just straight up with you and me. I know there's people listening, but 65 is actually, if I could clip there, I think I'm good.
Yeah, man.
Straight up.
I think I'll be cheating death if I make it to 65.
Right.
I'm being like, I
Well,
like to be real, and I like to fucking at least be honest with myself, you know?
Well, I am. I mean,
and like, I think about that often, like when Warrior died, different things, you know, when somebody dies, I'm thinking, okay, he lived to be this long, and then I compare it with the things I've done to damage myself, and man, when you're shooting coke and meth and stuff into your vein, man, that's not too good on the heart.
No, dude, we were doing the thing. It was a financial plan, and my guy says, well, this will kick in when you're 65. I looked over at my wife and said, fuck, 65?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'll make it 65. I mean, straight up. So anyway, going back to the memorial, how was that?
It was really well done, man. It got started off late because, you know, Anthony, the manager, he wanted to, you know, he's that personality type. I learned that he wanted hands-on on everything, you know. Hard for him to delegate, I think. So it took, but it was really well done, man. She would have really dug it. Coolio was there. He sang. He's, you know, wrote a song, sang it. And Barry Williams.
Yeah.
You know, Greg Brady.
Yeah.
He sang, and it was just really well done, man. That she became a Mormon while she was in Japan.
Why was that?
I just looking for a sense of belonging somewhere, man. But yes, and just needed something, man. You know, when you're looking, and I didn't talk to her about it, so I'm only
she
speculating.
super religious?
No, she was never before. You know, we never talked about that.
Right.
Matter of fact, when I would discuss it, like she kind of gave me the impression she really didn't believe in anything.
Right.
So.
Do you?
Yeah, but I don't really think anybody on earth has it all figured out. You know, like I don't think, you know, any one religion has it figured out, Steve. But like so many things I've, you know, seen and like experience in my life makes me think that something's going on. I hope so.
but for you personally, then you feel like maybe somebody's been watching out for you.
Yeah, most definitely, and watching out for other people over some of the things I could have done to really hurt others. Man, driving fucked up, Steve. You know, and thinking about the people I could have killed. So, and you know, hanging and not breathing for however, you know, 15 minutes or whatever, and still here. So something's going on, right?
How did the service wrap up? I mean, was she cremated or?
Yeah, she was cremated, and they made a really cool urn for her. It was black and pink and had a bunch of gemstones on it. And the next day, we got in a yacht off Redondo Pier. And we went out in the water and spread the ashes. And so, you know, that was kind of brutal. I kind of lost it on that, you know. But it was cool. I'm glad I did it.
Hey,
I wasn't sure, man, Steve. I wasn't sure if it was appropriate for me to show up there, but they called and asked me. And they said, you know, she was getting ready to kind of own things and you know, try to make amends. And I'm like, I had a hard time believing it, but, you know, more than one person told me that. So I hope that's true, man. I really hope.
Hey, check it out. You know, I was I did a Stone Cold podcast with Triple H. I know you guys are very close, as well as a friend of mine as well. But when I brought up the question about Chyna going to the Hall of Fame,
fair question, man.
It was a fair question, but the answer didn't rub let's say the answer didn't rub a lot of people in the right direction.
Sure, I understand that too.
But there's not a doubt in my mind that Chyna belongs in the Hall of Fame. I don't give it whatever her past is. She deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, how valid is the Hall of Fame? Well, it is what it is. It's there.
It's important.
She excelled in our business, so then since she excelled to an extremely high level, and there were women that paid their dues before her. Yeah. We both know that. But, I mean, what she did and the hottest period in the history of wrestling to get over that strong, with all those strong personalities, it's a male-dominated industry, and for her to be in the upper echelon of over, hey, man, I don't think you can deny that. She belongs in the Hall of Fame. And
the things that she did for just the empowerment of women in general, beyond our industry, I mean, that's like Billie Jean King type shit, man.
Right.
I mean, more impressive in my opinion, working with the guys for Vince, and then that New Japan. A woman's never even stepped foot in a New Japan ring before or since.
Against a guy,
or before that. I mean, Amber O'Neal was Luke Gallows' valet over there at the Bullet Club. That was the only other time a woman's ever stepped foot in a New Japan ring.
Dude, but I thought they had women wrestlers over there.
Not in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
In All Japan?
No, only in their own Japanese women, JWP, All Japan Pro Women. It's all separate.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought New Japan had pro.
No way.
Oh.
No effing way, man. Straight up. Matter of fact, there was some people that were really out to get her over there and run her off.
You went to Japan when Chyna wrestled Chono.
Yeah. So I was after that one, and that's a really crazy story, Steve.
What happened?
Because we were both really whacked out, and paranoid.
When she wrestled Chono?
No, this was after that. She was tagging with him, and they wanted me to come over there and shoot an angle, and Chyna and I versus Chono and Tenzan at Tokyo Dome for the main event.
Oh.
Yeah. That went to hell. Okay, so first they want, they negotiate for us to have the match, and they offer me like half of what they're giving her, which she's a big ass star, so it wasn't a huge problem with me, but it ended up being an issue, and she made me feel with the because she could tell something was up, right? So when she found out what the money situation was, like an argument started over that. And I ended up going back on the deal that I made, and saying, no, I can't.
You don't want to do the match.
No, not for that money. I needed the same as her.
Right.
Right or wrong, that's how my mind was at the time. And so that created a situation. And then one of the photographers over there called and said there was like something fishy going on, and they changed the match on her and put like some MMA guy in the match, and it started spooking her. And so for a while there, like, she wasn't even going to go. And it was like just trying to get her to go, and I had to go with her. And like, I was perceived to be a huge problem and troublemaker because everything was fine before, right? And, they didn't understand that. There was a lot of chemicals in the mix, And I even brought shit to Japan with me when we went there. I'm like bringing 8 balls of shit with me, and it was crazy, man. I remember being in the bathroom like right before she went out for her match, and she's scared. She wants me out there, and I'm in the bathroom like getting hit a speed so I can go out there. And we went out there, and she had the match. She did great, but she was a nervous wreck. And then Chono wanted me to shoot an angle with him, and I'm saying, I don't think I'm coming back, so I shouldn't put my hands on you. Right? I mean, obviously, right? If he's not going to get his comeuppance on me. And something happened, man, and he said something. I can't remember what set me off, but I knocked the shit out of him, man. He was bleeding out of his ear, and I started putting the boots to him really hard. And, he said something about it when we got back, too. And I was just like, man, I didn't want to touch you at all because I don't know if we're coming back, And we got real paranoid in that. I thought we were going to end up in the bottom of Tokyo Bay because Chono's nobody to fuck with, right?
Right.
I mean, he's got, his gimmick was he came out looking like a Yakuza. His finish is a Yakuza kick.
Yeah.
Right? So, and when your mind's, crazy, like, they're coming to pick us up to take us to the airport, and we're not answering the door, and like we get our own ride there. No, we waited like 3 hours thinking they were going to go, and when we finally left the room, they were waiting outside for us, and we're like, oh fuck. So we don't know what's going to happen, but we do make it to the airport, and we get on a plane and get back, and it was crazy, man. It was crazy.
I enjoyed going to Japan, but I was always ready to get on the airplane and get back from Japan.
2 weeks is my cracking point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was down there for 3 weeks way back in the day, and I tore my tricep on the third day of that trip. And so they put me in a lot of tags, a lot of 6-man tags. And, man, me and Orrin Anderson drank beer like fiends to maintain our sanity because we're stateside guys.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? All of our stuff is in America. All of a sudden you go over there and everything's different. I love sushi. I love the culture. The people were cool. The wrestling style was cool. I mean, they treat you fantastic. Everything about it's cool.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that you're away from your family and you're in a foreign country when you're used to being stateside. Go to work, get a shower, grab your beer, get in the car, drink beer, book a territory, and do your thing. Go to the hotel. Might be some action going on at the hotel, in the lounge. And then, but now you're on a bus. You're with a bunch of guys you don't know. There's me, Ming, Arn, Guerrero, Benoit, Malenko were there. I mean, we had our crew, but me and Arn were the big drinkers.
You can make the best of it with those guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But we got an hour in, and we talked about enough Chyna, and we ended on a note. But
the thing about when you're talking about the Hall of Fame, though, I do want to say this. It's important to me that she gets in there. I mean, she was part of the reason. She was really disappointed when it didn't happen for her, and she wanted it, but they wanted her to get cleaned up and get some help.
Right.
From there, come on. I mean, from their vantage point, when they get somebody to come up on the stage and accept the Hall of Fame, be inducted in the Hall of Fame, you want to not worry about what they might say or make sure they're kind of stable when they, So I get it from that point of view, but she deserves to be in there, man.
Yeah,
there's no, and I don't know if I would really want to go in without her going in. She deserves that.
She'll be in.
Yeah, I hope sooner rather than later, man. I hope.
Well, I don't know what the perception will be if she were to go in next year, but to me, you put her in next year.
Yeah,
you just do.
Yeah.
So that's my
and
call.
Some people can say, "Oh, it's too late." No, it's not.
Or
it might not be ideal, but
or they're just going to say, "Oh, now they're doing it."
Right.
Well, hey,
too bad.
It's going to be now or in 5 years. Would you rather go now, 5 years, or 10 years? I'd rather go now.
Yeah.
For 33.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for another classic episode of The Steve Austin Show. Please leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and tell your friends. For more Steve Austin Show, go to PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.
Hey, man, do you own or rent your home? Sure you do, and I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.